Now, I can't have the same rights as everybody else. I do have the right to go out here and vote, but I didn't vote this year. And the reason why I didn't vote is because I feel like that it wouldn't matter if you put the Republicans and the Democrats in power at the same time. You ain't going to wave a magic wand over America and all of a sudden all our problems go away.
No.
It ain't going to happen.
No.
We didn't get in this shape overnight, and we're not going to get out of this shape overnight. You know it as well as I do.
Well, we got the most of it in 4 years.
No, this thing's been building up, man. Ever since Reagan done what he done whenever they released the buoyancy off of the gold, towards the gold standard. Ever since we left the gold standard, this thing's been going downhill, man. We didn't get $35 trillion in debt overnight.
Yeah, but we got a lot of it in 4 years. A lot of it.
We got a lot of it during COVID. We got about 6 million off of COVID.
Yeah, but COVID was a damn lie.
I don't know. There's still people dying from the stuff.
Yes, sir. And there's still going to be more because they're going to try to introduce.
All it was a souped up flu, you know it? That's all it was a souped up aggressive flu.
They need to get rid of these people that are supposed doctors.
Well, how come he's putting in his administration the same doctor that was in there whenever he was president before, that female? What's her name?
Oh, I don't know. Fauci's the one that put the damn.
Fauci was the male doctor. I'm talking about the female doctor that stood right there beside Fauci. He's putting her back in power. Well, she wasn't nothing but a quack. Just like him, he wasn't nothing but a quack.
Yeah.
They didn't know how to handle COVID.
That's right. Well, we did. But what the thing was, it's Chinese brought the. It's like any kind of a germ or anything like that.
That gets released. An agency
released.
gets released. It
That's
goes
right.
wild at first, don't it?
That's right.
And man, there's no doubt that they was having complications over there whenever you was seeing
Yeah,
buildings
yeah.
that should have taken a year to build, and they was getting them built in less than 30 days. We're talking about facilities that hold 10,000 people. You know good and well they was at their wits' end right there, and plus they was welding people in using Clintonian measures towards putting people in houses and not letting them come out. I mean, they didn't know how to respond to none of that stuff neither. But you know the reason why that broke out the way that it did, don't you? Right before all that stuff happened, they was having uprisings over in China, hundreds and thousands of them, to the point that they was literally having to shoot water cannons and rubber bullets and everything else on their people, and it got out of hand. It was totally out of hand to the point that I think that the oligarchs over there was fixing to lose control. Now, I don't know if it was done by China itself or it was done by North Korea, because North Korea is within driving distance, and you can basically drive from North Korea to China in a day. So somebody could have actually sabotaged them and brought that agency over to China, released it, and thought it was coming from the fish market, pertaining to raw fish. Mm-hmm. But the whole time, it was coming from that area, and the reason why it was coming from that area was because they was fixing to lose control.
Mm-hmm. I'm not sure that's the reason so many got killed, because we got controlled. When they control you and make you stay in the, it's like they did the
back in the caveman days, put them in cave. Back in the Bible days, they call them Clintonian measures, where you put people off in silos and just leave them there, let them die. That's a primitive way of dealing with things, but that was what they was doing. And of course, that disease spread all over the world. Did you know that? It got in them airline people, and next thing you know, it went from country to country.
You know, right over here at Martin, the graveyard, the yellow fever graveyard.
Know exactly where it is.
They
Right before you get into Martin, on the left-hand side.
They won't let you bury nobody anymore, because you disturb the ground, you disturb the earth, and it lets the particles up, gets back into the system.
Well, if that be the case, how come they don't stop all these people from digging and finding all these mummies and all this stuff over there in Egypt and all that other stuff that they dig up? God only knows what kind of stuff that they're bringing into existence.
That's true, but it's a different world, because it's a dry world, and we've got a moist world over here. See, the sand and all that. See, when they built those big old pyramids and buried all that gold, that's what tore everybody up. They're going after the gold. And we're going to go back to gold. We're going to get back to gold.
I think our cash right now is basically worthless.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, when when
It's
you
just,
spend
just
it,
an ideal. It's
when
just
you
a
spend
dream.
it, when you spend it and print more, it becomes worthless. That's the way it did in Vietnam. When you go over there and buy a whole satchel full of damn money for $2, bring it home over and give it away.
Did you fight over?
No.
But you heard a lot of
Oh yeah.
a lot of
I got
horror
brother-in-laws-
stories
I got brother-in-laws and all that.
that come from over in that area.
Went over there and some of them died. Some of my friends over here.
Well, think about this also. Whenever COVID hit, it put everybody in the back seat. And of course, looking at it from a humanitarian standpoint, that's what they were supposed to have done,
That's right.
was taking care of their people, correct?
Right.
But Russia, it sure enough pissed them off over there, pretending they're oligarchs, and all of a sudden they realized, because they hadn't fully recovered yet from their country flopping the way that it did in I think it was 1991, whenever they went, they changed from being Russia to the Federation.
USSR.
That's basically whenever the Berlin Wall fall and everything, and they had to create a whole new system over there. Well, they ain't never recovered from that. And of course, whenever COVID hit, that sure enough set a lot of them oligarchs back. And that's whenever somebody started scratching their head saying, you know what? We just need to go over freaking Ukraine, take back over that freaking property, and take back over all that stuff. Well, you know, I don't blame them for wanting to do that, towards trying to make up for lost causes. But at the same time, what good is it going to do you if you go over and blow it all to pieces? You turn it into a wasteland.
That's what they're trying to do now. And see, China and that damn North Korean guy.
They're buddied up together.
Oh, yeah.
They're buddied up with the Russians now, hadn't they?
Mm-hmm. Russians and the Chinese.
So we've got two fronts going on. We got that front going on that could spread any given moment over into Europe and over into Germany, which they're very familiar with world wars, because they was the ones that got hit the worst during World War II. They ain't forgot all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They ain't never fully recovered from all that stuff, all them buildings being blown up.
Japan, same way. See,
Well,
Japan was
yeah, Japan too. But what I'm getting at, we got another front that's brewing right now pertaining to the Middle East. What's going to happen with the Middle East over pertaining to Israel and Iran and Iraq and all them other places over there?
Israel has got a hell of an
Toho.
army,
They got a hell of an army. They do.
and they'll take out a guy. And you see what they took him out with one of these.
I know.
So see, there's ways of doing things, and they're tired of being put down all these years, and they said there's no such thing as a Holocaust. That's what the other people said.
Well, you know, we've got the Geneva Convention that set up rules, and one of the main rules of during wartime was to not use poison on your own people, not use biological chemical warfare pertaining to spreading diseases,
Yeah.
and no more nukes, right? No more nukes.
Yeah.
Well, now they've violated all them freaking principles, because whenever you get to looking at what Israel done towards putting them bombs in them phones, that actually leans on the imagery of hitting below the belt, and there actually is rules engaged in wars, believe it or not, or there has been. These humanitarian wars, I'm tending to wonder if we're getting further away from them, because whenever you have countries that's starting to survive and they're going to war for survival purposes, they're not going to abide by those rules.
That's probably true.
Whenever you have millions of people that's dying in your country because of starvation or diseases or whatever, you think you're going to be concerned about a damn policy somewhere
That's
that
right.
somebody wrote up?
That's the reason that Iran is going to mess up, and when they mess up, Israel will take them out. When you put the law is,
I think
if
they
you
already
use-
have nukes. Matter of fact, they had an underground earthquake, give or take, about 2 months ago, and they said the only thing that had created that earthquake that deep, it had to have been some sort of an experiment below the ground.
Probably so. See, that's what I mean. See, we don't check on nobody. We say you got to do this, and if you don't, we're going to not let you do this.
I think there's too much going on right now. There's no way that we can keep check on everything. Do you? I mean, the CIA, we're spread all over the world, but I think there comes a time to where you just can't keep an eye on. You can't police the whole world at the same time.
Well, you can't be the police of the world, but whenever something happens, you can then. That's what Israel is doing. When them guys they have a hit squad come over and they have this guy.
Hell, they was flying them in on parachutes and on whatever you call them on them things where they had little motors on the back of their backs. And whenever they went in and done what they done, that was a bad deal. That was in October. Remember that? Their anniversary just now come up over there, pretending to all that. They've been now engaged in their war for over a year now, and the deal over there in Ukraine, they've been engaged in that now going on 3 years. You know it.
But I don't know that Ukraine.
But would a Putin have done that if Trump was the president?
I don't think so. I don't think he would have.
That's the $64 question, ain't it?
See, that's where it says he told them he wouldn't, and they were not doing until he got out. When they started, they used all this shit. They tried to put him. They tried to put him out of money, out of business, kill him.
Actually, I may be wrong about the 3 years. It may be more on a level of 4 years now over there in Ukraine.
Maybe.
Because
they couldn't use it. They couldn't do it. And then when Biden got in, Biden got given them a whole lot of money. See, give them a whole lot.
And that's another thing that to me is unagreeable. You can't buy friendship. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
People just going to use you. Besides that, if we was to go back to the standards of the Bible says, do not throw your pearls before the swine. That means you can be too good for your own good by allowing people to take advantage of you. And that's exactly what's happened.
They did us the last 4 years, taking advantage. Gimme.
But getting back to that ordeal, pretending that flooding, they've figured out now what's causing that is the atmosphere is getting so hot above our heads. Once more, this has got to do with the greenhouse breaking down, with all the carbon dioxide going up into the atmosphere. It's gotten so hot that the moisture is now going up into the atmosphere twice as high than what it ordinarily was. It's building that much more moisture. It's holding that much more moisture, and then whenever it releases it in the form of a deluge. I mean, we've seen the same thing, 4 years ago over here in Waverly, Tennessee. They got 17 and something inches of rain in about 6 hours. You know that, don't you? Waverly. Over in Humphreys County, where Loretta Lynn's from. Killed about 22, 24 people. It desecrated half their freaking town, man. It's gone. But look how bad it got over in East Tennessee and North Carolina. It took out whole cities. It took out whole towns.
I know that. We're talking about the earth, but we have lots of earths.
We do,
And
but
lots of people.
But we got lots of people on the earth. You know, I've used the analogy pertaining to the Grand Canyon. You know, have you ever been to the Grand Canyon?
Mm-hmm.
So you've looked at the Grand Canyon, how big and wide it is?
Yeah.
You know the Hoover Dam, it only goes up to about a third of the way to the rim of the Grand Canyon. Because they got the river down there. You know? But I believe that we could fill the Grand Canyon up all the way to the top of the rim. Not to the top of the dam, but all the way to the top of the rim. Probably a dozen times if you was to go all the way back to I think it was 1906 whenever they incorporated shale and made it a institution the way that they did. That if you was to go all the way back of all the barrels of oil that's been drained from the earth, you'd be able to fill the Grand Canyon up several times. All right, I realize the earth is a big earth. But you compare that now to the Grand Canyon of how much oil that we're burning every day, because this thing ain't going down, it's going up. We're burning more and more fossil fuel every day. They're digging wells every day. You know what I'm saying? We're putting more and more carbon dioxide up into the atmosphere every day. And you continue to do that again and again. Eventually there's going to be repercussions. Is that what we're seeing now? Pertaining to the deluges. That's what we're seeing now pertaining to the fires, pertaining to the droughts, pertaining to all the other things. I mean, over in Europe, they've been hit over there. I don't forget how many people died the year before last of being so hot. Of course, you take some of them places that's further north than what we are, Well, that's like Chicago. The majority of the people in Chicago back in the 60s didn't none of them have air conditioning. And probably still to this day, there's still areas up in northern Illinois and up towards Wisconsin and Wyoming and places like that that don't have air conditioning because they didn't need it. Well, now the atmosphere is getting warmer and warmer and warmer, and I know that you know this because it used to be in October, it was cold and wet. By November, we'd done already seen a snow or two, and it done already had a hard freeze or two. Right now, it's November, what, 17th, 16th? And we ain't even really had what you'd call a killing freeze yet in Northwest Tennessee. I ain't seen the ponds freeze over enough that people could walk on them in the past 20 years around here. So there's no doubt something's happening to our environment. Now, what's causing it?
We're destroying most of it. Where we're putting
Too much
houses,
human activity.
Too much human activity. Houses, everything else.
Well, every time you make a motor, and every time you see those ball bearings moving around and around, you're creating friction. What does friction create? Heat. Have you ever felt the back of an ice box while it was running? I'm sure you have. It gets hot. You can't really hold your hand back there, right? What's doing that? Them pistons in there working. That motor in there regenerating that freon in that ice box. How come somebody hadn't engineered some way or another to take some of that cooling that come from the freon and bring it back down to the motor to help keep that motor cool?
Well, it's just recently, you might say that we've been able to use freon very good anyway, because a common person couldn't regenerate a damn air conditioner. He had to take it to somebody that had the tools and this, that, and the other.
Well, they've changed all that. You know that. They changed that back in the 80s whenever they went from R12 to R134. And that's the reason why now today you see all these cars with all these tinted windows is because R12 was about 3 to 5 degrees colder than R134. Well, while you had R12, you didn't have to worry about tinting windows. But now since they've gone to R134, now they're having to tint windows to confiscate the difference because of the sun beating down into the car. It don't cool the fuselage off like it should. But once more, it wasn't the freon that was causing the damage of the ozone layer. It wasn't cows farting. It wasn't spray cans pertaining to aerosol cans. It's all the carbon dioxide that's going up into the atmosphere that's tearing the atmosphere apart. Have you never seen them airplanes? I know you have. Have you seen them streamers in behind them airplanes? You know how wide them streamers are? They're about 3 times wider than a football field. Now from down here, it don't look that way. But you go up there and get to looking, yeah, it's several hundred yards wide. And you're leaving a stream for miles wide of leaving nothing but basically waste, smoke. You know how many airplanes that we have coming over just in the United States alone at any given hour over the continent of the United States? 5,000. On average, there's 5,000 airplanes either coming into America or leaving America. Every hour on the hour, every 24 hours. It don't stop. It really increases along by the holidays. Along by Thanksgiving, Christmas. Oh yeah, then you can double it then, more like 7,500 at any given hour. But that's a lot of freaking airplanes. That's a lot of pollution going up into and that's just here in the United States. You've got 6 other continents, man. And they're steadily changing over from a primitive system in places like South America, places like Mexico, places like Africa, where people hadn't been driving cars. Now all of a sudden they're driving cars. Now all of a sudden they got telephones. Now all of a sudden they got running water. Now all of a sudden they got electricity. There's basically a major shortage, an energy shortage all over the world right now, and going to fossil fuel and coal is not the answer. That's not the answer. I'm telling you what that's going to do. That's going to create more problems. The coal, I can see where the coal was kind of probably a little bit of an extreme whenever Reagan shut down all them coal mining things up there in Virginia and West Virginia and Kentucky. And there's no doubt they was doing a lot of damage to the earth. I mean, they go in and strip mine that earth, man. You know, I mean,
well, they do it right up here about Clay and stuff at Paris.
And you know, in comparison to what to some of these fields that's getting iron ore. I think it's up in Wyoming somewhere. They claim it goes down like 2 miles down, and it goes round and around and around and around and around. At any given time, they got like 5,000 employees working there.
Don't doubt it.
And we're talking about big earth moving equipment, big freaking trucks the size of this freaking house that's steadily going in there tearing up shit and dragging out shit. Well, you continue to do that year after year after year. What do you think that's going to do? And if we're doing it here, what do you think China's doing over there?
No, they haven't been doing it longer than we have. They had to.
And what do you think all these other countries are evolving to? The same thing. So we're doing it to ourselves. And the Bible speaks of that. The Bible says that God will come back in Revelations, that he'll come back to destroy those who are destroying the planet. And if it wasn't possible for humanity to destroy the planet, how come it was ever written in the book of Revelations to begin with? It is possible. Now, that's just like nuclear warfare or nuclear bombs. We got enough nuclear bombs right now to basically destroy the surface of the earth, I think 30 times or 300 times or something, maybe 3,000 times the surface of the earth. Now, can we destroy the whole planet of the earth? Probably not. But if everything went off at the same time, it would be so devastating. The planet Earth, it'd take 150, 200 years before the earth would ever start regenerating itself back again, if everything went off at the same time. As far as nuclear disaster. But I tend to wonder, these countries like China and North Korea and over in the Middle East and over there in Russia, pretending Ukraine, I tend to wonder if that's where all this is heading towards a third world war. Because anytime you allow for North Korea to come in with 10,000 troops and now saddle up with Russia, to where now Russia is in control of those troops towards defeating their enemy, which is the Ukrainians, you're basically leaning now into the degree of a third world war. You're getting other major countries involved. A matter of fact, that leader over there in Ukraine, he said that this was the beginning phases of the Third World War. And I'm sure it is. Why? Why can't everybody just get along? How come we got to shoot and kill and massacre one another? How come we got to be primitive about this? How come we can't figure out that we're damaging ourselves and damaging our communities and damaging our earth that we live on? We only have one earth. You can't just shit in your own nest. You know, even an eagle and a cat and even a hog knows better than the crap in its own place where it's going to live. It usually picks out a corner, and that's where they all go, at the same corner. You know it? Have you ever noticed the hogs do that? Hogs don't wallow around in their own crap. Not ordinarily. Cats, what does cats do with their crap? They cover it up. You watch animals, see what they do. They don't crap in their own nest. They don't crap in their own home. And that's what we're doing to planet Earth. We're crapping in it. We're crapping on our own stuff. Hey, listen, that thing right over there, is that yours? Does that belong to you?
What, the cannon thing?
Yeah.
Yep.
Did you make that, you said?
Yep.
You won't get rid of it?
No. A guy, brown boy from outside edge town, come by here one time, and he said, "Would you sell that cannon?" I said, "Well, not particularly." "Why?" He said, "I'd give $100 for it." I said, "I wouldn't take it." I said, "But it's not a cannon. It was the wheels and stuff on that come off of a goat cart. You remember the goat carts that the kids used to play?
Yes.
Put a goat in front of it
Yes.
and had a seat in there."
Yes.
And so that's what those wheels come from. Then that barrel,
Uh-huh.
it would come off the front of the house, the post.
Okay. Because it's actually not as big on one end as it is the other end,
That's right.
which gives a really good impression that it is possibly a cannon, a real cannon.
See, it's got a ridge around there too on the top and far end.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, on the other end.
Well, why don't you take it and paint it and
Well,
rework it and make
I
it
did,
look?
but it just come off of it. I sprayed it black, and
No, you'd probably have to get real with it towards taking off the majority of the rust and stuff, and then putting good primer on it,
Yeah.
and putting a good base on
Yeah.
it. You know what I'm saying? You'd have to spend a little bit of time with it, but you could refurbish it and make it look decent, couldn't you?
Yeah.
I don't know about all that apparatus on both sides and on the top. What is that? Is that part of that buggy?
no, it was that's where the buggy set on it. It went across.
Oh, it did?
The axle. It's got-
Okay, so that's still original?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a
So I
Got
got
bearings.
I got two old wheels. I bought them from the guy that bought the old nightclub over there in Martin, right beside where the old bowling alley used to be.
Mhm.
I bought two old rims, and the only reason why I bought the rims is because of the occurrence that I had in 1988. Whenever I met those foreigners over there from Saudi Arabia, those 13 foreigners that Dwayne Davis and Dayton Earl Pinnick was with me. Whenever I met them over there, and they basically put a calling card in my shirt pocket that I found the next day, because the main ramrod got close enough to me that he pushed me on the shoulder, and as he was pushing me, he dropped that card in my pocket. And that card was a piece of cloth, 2 inches by 2 inches. That was a black piece of cloth, solid black, that had like a golden outline around it, and then inside the cloth was a golden circle, and inside the golden circle was a moosehead star, a 5-pointed star that represents satanic involvement. And who would have thought that I left from here, let me see, when was it, 1985, and worked 5 years in Milan, and worked 10 years in Jackson, and then stayed on the road for about another 10 years. Who would have thought that whenever I come back to my hometown, out in the middle of Timbuktu, that somebody would have put a castle out there representing the very thing that I'm talking about towards demonic worshipers pertaining to the Wiccans. Who would have ever thought that somebody would have put something like that within a quarter of a mile from where I live? Hey, you know that guy that bought that Baptist Beach Grove Baptist Church? He's doing a remarkable job on the inside of that thing,
I
for
didn't know
bringing in
they
a
was
lot
gonna-
of money.
I didn't know they would sell it. You know, I asked a couple times, and they said they wouldn't sell it. They wanted to sell the pews out of it, you know. And
The three women, three sisters that owned it, I think one of them had died, and I think that guy just got. Marvin Alexander owned it.
probably
It was
after that.
in his name, and he was trying to get, I think, $30,000 out of it. But I'm pretty sure he was probably trying to make his money.
Well, see, it had a brand new air conditioning system put in it.
They did.
Yeah, brand new. And so, like I said, you probably
Well, the well still works,
Yep.
because all that guy had to do is hook wires to it,
Yep.
and the well still pumps just like brand new.
Yep. Yeah,
So that must not be that old neither.
well, I hooked it up when I was out there. Remember that next door there, that double wide?
Mm-hmm.
There was a guy and a woman drove trucks.
They still do.
I don't know.
They still do. They still live
I
there.
hooked that well up to get water one time,
Okay.
and fixed their well because theirs was messed up.
Really?
And I humped that trailer up.
You remember originally Stanley Berg lived right there where that trailer is right now. You remember old Stanley?
Who?
Stanley Berg.
Bird. Remember the name, but I don't remember who.
Had a sister that lived there too. Novella Davis lived across from there. Remember Novella Davis? I'm talking about going way back in the late 60s, early 70s. Well, it was Stanley Berg's sister that killed herself, that was sitting on the toilet whenever she done it, the outhouse. I remember it was the same year we moved down here. I think it was in '68. Whenever that happened, she buried over there at the old Primitive Baptist Church in between, going towards Reeves. You know where the old Primitive Baptist Church is over there, don't you?
I know the cemetery, the other one over there goes out in the woods.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
In between Mount P and Reeves.
She killed herself.
She shot her brains out. And the reason why she shot her brains out was, I was told, was because certain people was aggravating her and making her feel bad because she was having sex with her brother.
Huh.
Well, you know, incest back then was a common thing. But you know what? You get online, you get to looking at Facebook and YouTube. My God, I think incest is more perverted today than what it ever been, pertaining to stepfathers having sex with their stepdaughters and fathers having sex with their daughters and everything else. I've never seen the like of wickedness going on in some of these other countries. I guess it's going on right here in the United States. I guess, I don't know, but I mean, incest is a big thing now, isn't it? It was big then, but back then they didn't know no better. Today they know better. You know, if you impregnate somebody that's that close that kin, you're gonna wind up with a deformed child or a child that's gonna have brain damage or something.
Yeah.
The gene pool don't match.
But
The gene pool don't match.
the person over across the road used to, Matt Double Wide, had a old car, real nice old car. I forgot what it was, whether it was
You talking about where we're talking about right now? We're next to that church,
no, yeah, across
Okay.
the road,
across the road.
yeah, across
Yeah,
that
yeah.
house there.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. That was
Who was it? He had a nice old car.
yeah,
So that-
Doug Nelson. He had a brother by the name of another brother that lived right down there where I live, a little bit close to the bottoms down there, that Jinx Wallace lived down there. Now he died, and they sold all that property over last year. They had a big sale over there. The Halls bought that big farm over there.
Oh yeah, I imagine they bought everything they could down there. You know,
Uh-huh.
halls.
Anything around them.
Mhm.
I think it's about 80 acres, if I'm not mistaken. Something like that. Somebody else bought the house and an acre, and then Melvin Hill bought the old house that was falling in and 5 acres. Because Melvin Hill owns the property right next to that.
What was that boy's name? And he wasn't right. His daddy adopted him, I think. On down there, way out.
Jimmy Jackson?
Who?
Doodobber?
No. I knew Dudubber and Jimmy.
Tudor Morgan? Who talking about?
No, this is a great big guy. He was a wrestler and fought back during the time they had.
Did he live down there in Hopin?
Down
That was Cecil Jackson. That's my cousin.
No.
That had that
Yeah.
that had that adopted boy by
Yeah.
the name of Jimmy.
Yeah, that's him.
Jimmy, whenever
Whatever
they
happened to him?
Jimmy,
Yeah.
he's still living. He lives over at Kenton.
I don't know.
He wound up getting involved with the Carney people, and he'd leave and stay gone for 6 months, 8 months.
Jimmy.
Yeah, he'd go place to place, going with the Carney people.
I didn't know what happened to him.
He's still living. He was adopted, but you
Mhm.
know he's still got my name.
Yeah.
Jackson. Matter of fact, it was that same bunch of people that wound up spreading in another direction, that wound up over there in Union City. If I'm not mistaken, they used to own a cleaning thing over there that cleaned clothes and stuff, and the boy got a decent education, and now he works for the TBI over there in Union City. His name is Jeff Jackson too. He's basically my third or fourth cousin. I didn't know if you knew him or not, or knew any of those people over there. But all these catastrophes that continue to keep hitting, you know, the Bible says that these will be the great sorrows that will fall upon humanity in the last days, and that it would be as a woman travailing with a child, that as you watch a woman travailing with a child, her pains will get more severe and they'll get closer together. Well, that's how the Bible expresses what's going to happen in the last days. And if you'll put that together with the scriptures that says, as you shall see the days approaching, that no flesh shall be saved, but because of the elect, those days will be shortened, that pretty well self-explanatory in what we're doing to the planet, that basically we're bringing these catastrophes upon to ourselves. And matter of fact, they just had a big meeting. I don't think Trump wanted to go to it. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Biden went to it somewhere over in another country, and man, they're bashing all these superpowers in creating all this stuff that's causing misery to all these smaller countries that can't afford all this stuff. Matter of fact, Biden is supposed to be on his way to the Amazon. What's he going to the Amazon for?
Money.
Amazons? What's in Amazons? That's where they was burning the forest up and turning it into farm ground down there in South America, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's he going down there for?
I don't know. His son, see, he's the one who got all that money together, starting it out, you know, Biden's son, and they ain't never got him yet.
Well, they're all dirty.
Yeah.
It don't matter if they're Republican or Democrat. They go to work and they're supposed to be going to work for the people. But people like Nancy Pelosi, that's worth over $400 million, and all them senators and stuff, that's worth hundreds of millions of dollars, and they're supposed to be working for the people. How does that happen?
I don't know how she does it. I don't know. I know she is on the stock market. See, she had her husband get
Inside trading.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Knowing when to buy and when to sell.
That's right.
Just like that Minch character up there in Kentucky. He's worth about that kind of money too, $300 or $400 million.
McConnell.
Yeah. But yet, no, they're supposed to be working for the people.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you what, Donald Trump's got the right ideal. He really does towards going in there and cleaning house. I just don't think he realizes what kind of hill he's fixing to have to climb. Do you know it?
That's reason he's getting so many different people, and the most of them know what the hell's going on. If you look.
But he's firing top CIA agents and FBI agents
Yeah.
and home security people.
Yeah, because they didn't even take care of him. They were told not to shoot that boy on that roof. He was all hired by Iranians.
He was.
Yeah, they was all sent money to his account.
Did you see that on the news? I didn't know that they'd fine-tuned that like that. Really?
Mm-hmm.
So that was an attempt by the Iranians
Yep.
because of what Donald Trump had done to them while he
Yes.
was president, right?
Yes, he killed that other guy. Remember?
That head guy over there.
Mm-hmm. But he can do that at any time, and I don't know why they can't. But see, we've got so many goof-offs. You take over here at college, we've got so damn many kids that's come over here with the
Exactly.
intention of doing something.
Exactly.
But not education.
Or they've come over here with the intentions of being spies. That way
Yeah.
they can relay every ounce
Yes.
of information that they find out over here back to their headquarters, back where they're from. And that's one of the reasons why Union City refused to open up a college, because they had the same opportunities that Martin did. Whenever Martin College come into play, they had the same opportunity, and Union City turned it down. You know why they turned it down? Is because they seen it as a breach. Because you take on the foreign exchange students that come over here,
Mm-hmm.
all you're doing is opening up yourself towards bringing people from other countries. You know, they talk about them stealing stuff from us.
Mhm.
They ain't stole nothing from us. We giving it to them.
Yeah.
We're letting them over here, and now they're just copying it
Yep. Taking it with them.
and taking it back over there and making a killing off of it.
Yep.
And building it 3 times less than what we can ever design it and build it for. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We're throwing our pearls before the swine.
Did you seen? You remember over the Coca-Cola plant over at Union City? That big nice home that boy built. He lost it, you know. They're changing that now. They built homes, buildings out there at the end of that.
Are they?
Took that all out and built in big nice.
That's where that
buildings.
guy had that blue jean factory,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
That started that blue jean factory
Yep.
with them.
Him, Hardy Graham, was on the bank board, Coca-Cola man, and he wouldn't give him the money to buy used washers and dryers to start that business. So he went and bought it, and but he got too much tied up.
Well, you know, Graham's dead now. Coca-Cola guy, he's dead.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
Well, see, he had a big nice home out there in the country.
He still does. He still does that he bought off the Turner family, off Bill Turner, that built that big levee and built that big pond right there. That's about a 4-story house right there. And I was told, I don't know how true it is, but I was told that there's over $1 million worth of artillery in the basement.
Don't doubt it.
Over $1 million worth of guns and artillery. Of course, he owned another Coca-Cola plant in Dyersburg, or going towards Hall somewhere. He owned that one. And I may be stepping over the border here by saying what I'm saying, but I'm a pretty good ideal that he had something to do with that big batch of marijuana that was busted over in O'Brien. That wound up that Mexican boy wound up taking the fall for. But I'm pretty sure
And
that
caves.
Mr. Graham and 2 or 3 other ones had some involvement with all
They had
that.
some caves built back in there.
I don't know nothing about no caves.
They had caves. They had houses built down in, let's say you had a big field out there yonder, and yet houses built out to the end of it. And on the way out there, you had lots of upheaval. They built tunnels on there.
Really?
That's where you could put your stuff, anything you want to put underneath there.
Well, I was told Graham had something to do with that, but somebody passed a letter to the judge while they was having court, and all of a sudden that got swept under the rug, son.
Oh, yeah.
You didn't hear nothing else about all that, you know it?
Mm-hmm. That's the way it goes.
Because there was 2 or 3 of them that was involved in that. I think one of them was up here in Martin. Of course, I may be overstipulating my causes, but I think there's somebody in Greenfield that's been bringing in shipments of it too. That used to sell produce. Yep. The big money people. It's surprising how the court system that's supposed to be working for the people are aware of these people doing this, but they turn their heads and let it happen. You know why they do that? Is because it's a business,
Right.
and it puts stuff out on the street. That way the lawyers make money, the judges make money, the probation officers, everybody makes money. It's a money-making deal.
That's right.
But yet, no, they're supposed to be working for the justice of the people.
And judges and whatever.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you're probably talking about that.
It's corrupt. It's corrupt, and you know it is.
That place in the bottom, the trucking company.
Uh-huh.
A bunch of them used to bring stuff in.
Uh-huh. Still do, I was told. I don't know how true it is.
They're all about dead. There ain't one left of them.
Really?
Yeah. He's
Well, you know good well Mike Wilson, the sheriff, was out here for what, 30 years, one of the longest lasting
Yep.
Tennessee sheriffs. You know good well he know that was going on.
Sure.
And ain't no telling what else he know that was going on. Sure.
Still does.
Undercuts, money people.
Yeah.
Getting paid under the table. So until this thing completely crashes, pertaining to draining the system, and maybe God put the right man in the right place at the right time pertaining to draining the system. But I guarantee you, one thing that we are looking at that's gonna basically rattle some people's lives, even right here in the state of Tennessee, is Venezuelan gangs. Did you know that we're overthrown right now with Venezuelan gangs, and they're rootless, man. I'm talking about some rootless freaking people.
Yeah, they killed. They just chop your head off, whatever they need to do.
Well, if you watch Facebook down there in California, it ain't nothing for them to take one of them big old 4-wheel drive trucks that's all souped up and run over 2 or 3 freaking cop cars. Matter of fact, they'll pull up right beside a cop and deliberately provoke them and take off with the rear end going right up, knowing good well that the cop's going to get after them. Whatever they do, it winds up killing 4 or 5 people. They're crazy. They're crazy in the head. You know what I'm saying? And whenever Donald Trump's going to make this big sweep, in which there's no doubt it needs to be done, you know as well as I do, that's going to cause some bloodshed.
Yeah.
You ain't just going to. These people ain't just going to walk up to their whatever they're going to call it towards people being extradited back to their countries. You know good well they're not going to do this voluntarily.
Now they come out of prisons anyway, and they told them if you come back, you come into this prison, you're gonna die. You might as well stay out as long as you can, or die out there one. And that's what they're gonna do. They're gonna die out here if they can. It's like the mafia did years ago. You know, they would go into a restaurant and kill somebody right in front of everybody else. You know.
And plus, you got the Mexican gangs.
Yep. They ain't gonna like it, so they're mad at them, so they're gonna kill what they can.
So whenever you're talking about exporting all these people, that ain't going to be done just at a whimper, and that ain't going to be done voluntarily. I guarantee you, there's going to be bloodshed over that.
I think that the Army will get involved.
Going to have to be.
Yeah.
Going to have to be.
And that's really what they need to do, because that's what we...
It's going to endanger the citizens
Yeah.
of the United States if they don't, you know it?
Yeah.
If they're going to do it on this mass deportation
Yeah.
like they're talking about doing, you know it?
Yeah.
Especially in these bigger cities where they basically went in and taken over.
Well, see, they got rid of all the cops that they could. See, the ICE people, see? And I said,
I think they're going to have to make a new contract with these cops towards making sure that a cop can no longer be held accountable
Yeah.
in civil court.
Yeah.
I think they're going to have to come up with a whole new, different plan for cops, because right now we're losing more police officers than you could ever think of, toward people taking early retirements and stuff.
Yeah.
And don't nobody want to become a cop because of that. I mean, you become a cop, you're trying to do your service, and the next thing you know, you wind up in jail the rest of your freaking life.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And there's no doubt there's some bad cops out there.
Oh yeah.
And this, all this stuff with all these cameras and social media, I think it's culling through a lot of them right now, don't you? But eventually they're going to have to put down some different stipulations on police officers if they're going to keep a good police officer force. If not, the bandits are just going to take over.
It's just like our news people.
Yes, them too. Them too has been a big
CBS,
contributing factor
NBC,
to this.
And CNBC.
They've been a big contributing factor. What do you think that guy settled for over $1 billion and walked out? Whatever his name was, ahead of Fox or whatever it was. He left. He took his money and run.
Yeah, it's one of the others. CNBC or.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, see,
The media's been a big player in all this towards allowing for it to get in the shape that it's in. And not being honest with the people.
Yeah.
Just like what went on down there at Waco, Texas, and what went on in Oklahoma. I mean, if you're not honest with your people, eventually your people's going to lose trust in your government.
What happened to that guy who was in Waco? Wasn't it Waco?
David Koresh,
Yeah.
he died in that fire, supposedly.
Yeah.
Him and about 70 more others.
Yeah.
But if you get to studying towards what all went on and how it went on, that was provoked by the government.
Yeah.
By a bunch of ATF agents that went down there.
They want to destroy him.
The thing about it is they could have captured him at any given time, because it was nothing for him to leave that compound. And he had like a ritual where I think he took a run or walk or something like that. They could have got him anytime. But instead of busting him and him alone, they wanted to showboat it, and they wanted to turn it into a big hoopla. Right. And that's whenever they basically entrapped all of them with a bunch of ATF agents and taught them how to take a firearm and take a regular semi-automatic and turn it into an automatic gun and start making money that way. That way the judge could get them on invasion taxes, and basically they killed them people over monetary money.
Yeah.
Over money is what they attacked them people for and killed them for. Yep. And they set them up. They entrapped them.
Yep.
And all them people was doing was minding their business and basically building their little deal. They was doomsday preppers. They was getting ready for the end of the world to happen.
Yeah.
And you got doomsday preppers all over the freaking country now.
That's right. That's him. Remember them got in them. It's going to wait for them to come one night, and all got in this big building or something, and waited for them, and it didn't happen.
See, I didn't know. I didn't keep up with it like I should have, because at the time I was working at Milan pertaining to that deal at Waco. Mm-hmm. But they had open court in Washington, D.C. over all that in front of Congress. And they admitted that the tear gas that they was shooting into that building that day was lethal, flammable tear gas.
Yeah.
Well, they fired something like 200 canisters into that building in about 7 hours while that tank was going around driving holes into it. Mm-hmm. 200 canisters of flammable tear gas, and you know good and well that them women and them women had to be taking care of them children down there in the lower corridor with either coal oil lamps or candles going. And as soon as all that gas got down there, what did it do? It turned it into a tire inferno, because that was a huge building.
Yeah.
That was a big building. That was a building probably the size of that school right there, and probably twice the size of that school if you got to looking at square feet of it, because it went around in a big square block, and then they had a thing in the middle. And I'm pretty sure they probably dug out down there in the middle, and that's where they had all their supplies and stuff.
Right.
But if you shoot enough tear gas in there, eventually that tear gas is going to keep going and going and going until it gets down there where them candles is. And whenever that candle hit it, that's all it took was a spark.
That's like they were planning something here in the last few years. You see, Biden hired all those
Internal Revenue Service agents.
Yeah.
What was it, 80,000 or something like that?
Yeah.
Wasn't that crazy?
Yeah. What do you think he's going to do to them?
He's going to crack down on their citizens.
And arm them, have them kill some of them.
There ain't but one other person that I know that has done that, and that was Abraham Lincoln, that turned on his own people. It was Abraham Lincoln that created martial law. And that's whenever the damn Civil War started. And if they keep on, that's what's going to happen again. You hear me?
That's right. I said
it's going to happen again if they keep on.
Yeah. That's right. I said if this election, they don't let it alone and let it do, because they did win. See, the other one,
They won hands down this
oh
time.
yeah,
Hands
well,
down.
they were doing it last time, and they throwed everything away. You couldn't get the damn papers no more.
No, I really think he got beat. I really do. There was enough of them fruitcakes that voted him out last time. But look what it got us. Look what it got us. Got us nowhere.
Yep.
They was letting them freaking illegal foreigners coming over here. What's up with that? If the truth be known, some of them probably needs to be put on the wall. You know what?
Yep.
And I guarantee you, they would be put on the wall if we were dealing with people like back before the 1900s. They would be put on the wall.
Well, that's like I said.
They'd be
about
executed. They'd be executed.
about those agents. I don't know where they're at now. I hadn't heard no more about them.
I knew that was swept under the rug.
Yeah.
You notice how a lot of news gets hit headlines one day, and then next time it's just over with. You don't never hear nothing else about it. You know it?
Mm-hmm.
You don't never know what happened.
Money talks and bullshit walks.
Frankly. But I guarantee you, Trump's fixing to go in there and he's fixing to rough up some feathers, son.
Oh, he's done doing that, and he's hired these other people. Like I said, these other people know what's going on. They know what's going on. They are close to wherever this other stuff is going on, and they're gonna turn it over on them like a can of shit. You said it's gonna get on them, and whoever gets smells gonna get in trouble too.
Well, I'm just afraid that some of these major corridors like Atlanta, San Francisco, San Diego, it's really bad out west pertaining to the Mexican cartels out there. And, you know, even Hell's Angels, which is basically a bunch of veterans,
Yeah.
they're not a gang, they're a club, they hate them. They hate all these freaking different gang members that's
Yeah.
come over here from all these different countries
Yeah.
and basically trying to root them out
Yeah.
and everything.
Yep.
Because a lot of those Hell's Angels guys, they're good people. I mean, they got families, they got children,
Yep.
and whenever something
Well,
happens,
they tried to outlaw them once. Remember?
when was that?
Yeah, they sent the damn law in there.
Must have been in the 60s or 70s
No,
or
no,
something.
it's been here in the last so many years.
Was it out in Vegas? Out towards Reno? It wasn't over here. May have been out there now, because they're pretty rootless out there.
They went in there.
But they still hate the Mexican cartel and the Mexican gangs and stuff
Yeah.
because they're interfering with their business.
Yeah.
I seen one the other day. I documented and put on my Facebook where a Hell's Angels guy got off his motorcycle. There was one of them souped up trucks. I guess he's fixing to have a little heart-to-heart talk with him, and he stood there in front of the bumper, and all of a sudden the freaking truck grabbed up and grabbed the bumper, and the front wheel was probably just eating his stomach away as he was still hanging on. And then whenever the truck come down on the rest of him, the body went this way and the truck went this way, while another Hell's Angels had a gun and he was shooting at that freaking guy trying to take him out.
Don't blame him.
I mean, shit like that happens all the time in these
yeah.
bigger cities. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Especially out there in California and stuff.
Well, you can't expect the law to do anything because
They're scared.
they're scared.
They're scared. They're not so much scared that they're going to die, but they're scared that they're going to wind up having to suffer and be executed the same as the criminal because there ain't nobody protecting them over here.
That's right. That's what happened when that damn
And that's whenever you have a country that's on the brink of collapsing, because won't nobody stick together. You got to stick together. You know what I'm saying? Even back in the early 1900s, there was a bunch of hanging that went on around here, but at least they stuck together. I'm not saying that I agree with all of it because they didn't conduct themselves in the right way, just like down there at Reelfoot pertaining to the Night Riders. I mean, they had the right concept towards going around and taking care of bad people.
Yep.
They just took it a little bit too far, didn't they?
Yep. Well, it had downside on you.
Huh?
Had one downside on you.
Had one what?
Hanging.
There was many a hangings that happened inside down
Yeah.
here.
I mean, it had one that the Night Riders took.
Oh, they did?
Mm-hmm.
That may have been the one that Dad was telling me about then. They hung somebody down there over the Obion River and kept his carcass hanging on the limb for probably 2 or 3 months till finally the carcass fell off. Down there where old Grady Harden used to live, down on that Obion River.
You remember when that
course, my granddad, which was Jeff Jackson, that owned the Penn store, he basically worked as a dutyator that went around doing stuff like that. Because back then, that's how they handled their affairs. You know what I'm saying? That's how they handled their affairs. They maintained law and order, didn't they?
Yes.
Huh?
Yep.
They kept things orderly, didn't they?
Right. When they threatened them and they didn't do, they went in and done to them, and then they moved on or they died, whichever. That's what happened down there.
Which there's no doubt there's good and bad in all
yeah.
all different rings like that.
Yeah.
But the concept of what that they had started was a good concept.
Yep.
They just took it too far, didn't they?
Yep.
It turned into a vigilante thing, didn't it?
Yeah, that's the thing on any of it. That's what Floyd's bunch, when they killed Floyd down there.
George Floyd.
Yeah.
See, there was probably a lot to that story that we don't even know about,
Oh yeah.
pertaining to how they've been aggravated and agitated in that town,
Yep.
all the gangsters and all the drugs and everything else.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure it wasn't just over misinterpreted $20 bill that they thought was counterfeit. I'm pretty sure there was more involved in it than that. But boy, it sure did stir up a lot of people. And today, the way people are, my God, they liable to flare up at any given time. Next thing you know, they liable to be like down there in Memphis where they were shutting down I-40.
Yep.
Huh?
Yep.
And you know as well as I do, if that deal would have happened down there in Memphis with that black boy that was a UPS driver, if that would have been a bunch of white cops instead of black cops, they ain't no telling what would have happened to Memphis.
Yep.
They'd probably had to have got National Guard out, wouldn't they? That's what they had to do up there with George Floyd, didn't they? Didn't Trump had to get out something over there in Oregon? Portland, Oregon, whenever they basically used some fancy word to take over a whole freaking a whole freaking community or a whole freaking block or something.
Yeah.
They basically went in and took it all over, didn't they?
Because they wanted to show them that they could do it, and then you can't. If you're gonna go one way on this, you go same way over here. Don't go over there and fuck up. Well, I figured. And that's when I said they've been.
So what are we gonna do? How are we gonna prevent stuff like that? It's gonna have to get down and dirty, ain't it?
Yep, sooner or later. If they don't settle it down, it's gonna get down to where you have to. The old West has to prevail. Fastest gun.
It's almost that way now.
Yeah.
It is that way now out in Arizona and Texas and places like that. That's the only reason why they got it as good a law and order as they do. And whenever that sheriff down there in Arizona come down on all that stuff, did you know that they attacked that man and tried to ruin that man?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't forgot his name now, but they literally tried to ruin that man because he was standing up trying to do the right thing.
Yeah.
He was fighting for the citizens of Arizona.
Yep. And
since then, now you can carry a gun in Arizona and you don't have to have a permit. You can go around with a concealed weapon in Arizona. Stay there as long as you're a citizen of Arizona and you don't have no felonies. I guess you can carry a gun on anywhere you want.
The thing on that is like right here. You're supposed to be able to do it here, Tennessee.
A concealed weapon?
Yeah, you told it. You don't have to have a license for it.
Maybe not.
You don't. But the thing of it is, then they make you prove that you are a citizen. You got to have papers and all this other bullshit. See, and that's where they get you on the other end of it. See, the other side of the law grabs you and says, "Well, show me your papers." I ain't got to have no papers.
Well, Ray,
you tell me I got to have.
Ray, you may not go along with this, but as far as I'm concerned, the medical industry with the psychiatric industry, that as far as I'm concerned, ain't nothing but a bunch of modern day witches. Because if you'll study that industry, going all the way back to the Dark Ages. It was a very evil industry to where that they put them in silos and kept them all drugged up and stuff.
Yeah.
But as far as I'm concerned, that's one of the very reasons why today that our laws is not respected is because you can take some kid that gets out here and shoots 25, 30 people and get the right kind of attorney in behind him, and the next thing you know, well, he went through this and he went through that and he peed in the bed and he done this and that. We can't commit capital punishment on this person, Your Honor. And the next thing you know, he'll convince a jury that they got to back off, and the next thing you know, basically he either gets out or gets put in an insane asylum, or he don't get the death penalty, and it's just it's a manifestation of a cesspool of evil that now the good people are having to basically put these people in jail and keep them clothed and feed them meals, and keep them in a good confinement for the rest of their lives. Well, that ain't no punishment. A matter of fact, to some people, jail life is their life. They can't survive out here in the real world, right?
I know it. 3 squares.
They don't want to survive in the real world. They don't want to survive out here.
3 squares and a roof over my head.
That's right. It's too much responsibilities out here for them. You know what I'm saying?
Got to make decisions.
Yeah, got to make decisions. Got to be accountable. Got to wake up in the morning. Got to hold down a job. Got to dress nice. Got to present yourself decent. Where if you're in jail, you don't have to do none of that stuff.
Mm-mm.
All you got to do is make the head count.
That's right.
So maybe Donald Trump's on the right end. I just hope that he understands the severity of all this, because whenever you start mass deporting people, they're not going to leave voluntarily.
Well, you see what happened when he got elected. There was a bunch heading over here. He sent word to them, "Don't come." They turned around. So that he's got a bluff on them, if nothing else. So as long as you can keep the bluff, get rid of some of them.
He gonna build the wall. He gonna finish the wall.
I don't blame him. He should have. They should have went on. See, they sold that damn scrap iron. Biden did. Half of it is laying out there. They took and sold it for scrap iron.
That the citizens had already done paid for.
To make a damn wall.
I'll be darned.
See, it was down there, laying there.
I'll be
See,
darned.
there's so many miles or something like that they had of it. Then they had stuff laying here to build another miles, and that's they come in there and sold that shit.
Why would a group of people working for the people have allowed for something like that to come on to us like that?
Well,
Are they our enemies? Whenever Donald Trump talks about the enemy of being from within,
the enemy within.
is that what it is?
That's what it is.
They're here, ain't they?
They're here.
They've done set up camp, hadn't they?
Yep.
They've done got a footing, hadn't they?
That's the reason they thought they had it made this time. They thought, boy, we're going to do them like we did last time. We'll have it. Didn't happen.
Boy, it made a lot of those media people mad, didn't it?
That damn woman was crazy.
That
See,
black woman?
She wasn't black.
But there's a black woman that works for MSNBC.
Oh,
I heard
yeah,
her talking and downgrading the Republican Party.
Well, the damn,
And all she was doing every time she opened up her mouth was making herself look stupid.
yeah, she was. See, what
Making the
about-
whole party look stupid.
Yeah, old, what's her name? It's got that 5, the View.
Oh, yeah.
Her.
Okay.
See, she went through the system, and her uncles and whatever else raped her and whatever else, but she got into stuff, and they give her money and helped her out and put her into this and that and the other.
Okay.
And now she wants to run everybody else down.
Yeah.
Well, she's still black. I'm sorry, I'm black. No, you can't be. You know, just like this woman is running for president. She was Indian. She claimed she was black, and she married this other guy and this other guy and this other guy, and who knows? And for long,
Well, did you know that she never had a persecution case on her side, where she actually went after criminals
well,
out
she
there in
let 'em go.
California?
She let them go.
Why?
Well, it was just like the catch and let go.
Yeah,
the bill.
catch and release.
Same thing, and she thought they ought to do that way.
Well,
If
not
if
only
you
that,
help
but
people-
they got all those towns, all those cities over there that are called something that basically allows for all them illegal people to come over and live.
Mhm.
They got a fancy word for it.
Yep.
So it's out of control, man. And
Well, that's
I'm-
the reason she couldn't even talk.
the people seen through her, didn't they?
Huh?
The people seen through her.
I think so. Yeah.
The
I
people
think
seen
they
through
did.
her
Seen through it.
and seen through the party and said, you know what,
Yeah.
this has gone too far.
Yeah. And we're not going to.
And
And then the stupid damn.
And to be quite honest with you, I think that if they would have voted in the Democrat Party again this time, I think whenever you're talking about storms and seeing the wrath of God fall upon this great nation, I think it would have been twice as hard.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah.
Because you know good and well God is basically looking down at Lucifer and saying, do your job, sick 'em. Basically, God is allowing for this
You
to
know,
happen
I
to
don't
us,
know.
and He's allowing for it to happen to us for a reason, because we're supposed to learn our lessons, and we're supposed to change our ways. After we learn our lesson, we're supposed to change our ways, right?
That's right.
Well, we're not changing our ways. We're just going further and further into it.
Deeper and deeper.
deeper and deeper into it. It's awful. And you know, you read the Bible, you see what's happened to other cultures, you see what's happened to other generations. Did you know that she mocked God?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Huh? She was having some sort of a rally, and somebody spoke up about Jesus, and she said, "Oh, no, you're at the wrong meeting here.
Yeah.
You need to go on down the road to the next meeting."
That's right.
And everybody laughed.
Yeah.
You don't do stuff like that, Ray. You don't make mockery of God and God's people
Well, that's
like
the
that.
reason. See, it's just like I said about him, and they tried to kill him, and
I think it was only by the grace of God that Donald
that's
Trump
exactly
lived.
right. And he thought so too. He said that. He said, you know, it's only through the man up there.
I've been shot at. I ain't never been hit, but I've been shot at close enough that I could feel the heat coming off of the bullets.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I've been shot at 2 or 3 different times. One time intentionally, but I've been shot at 2 or 3 different times on being out here at a bird shooting, like a dove shooting or something like that, and somebody shoot too low,
Right past you.
and yeah, and then buckshot hit
Yeah.
you. Sucker hurt, don't they?
Yeah, I went fishing. I went hunting with a guy, and we went fishing later on. But there's 3 of them, and we took like one outside, the other outside, and the other
Right.
through the middle.
Oh, you put a man in the middle.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah. Bad thing, I was in the middle.
Oh
This
no,
guy- this
you was
guy
in the
shot.
bad place.
Yeah. This guy shot, and he raised up and shot. And you're not supposed to do that. You only take what comes your way, whatever comes. And it shot right past me. I mean, past my head. You could just feel it like blow your hair.
Uh huh.
You know.
Doing about
I won't go y'all no more.
doing about 2,000 miles an hour.
Yeah.
That's what caused that old man to flip out down there at Reelfoot whenever those duck hunters, them boys down there was a dispute down there with them duck hunters. I'm talking about the guy that
Val.
yeah. There was a dispute, and they actually changed blinds. Where one group of people went over here and another, he went over there and they changed blinds. Well, whenever they done that, all the ducks started flying over next to the old man. The old man was still knocking the ducks down. That's whenever the boys went over there and started a ruckus with him, and that's whenever he put an end to it, son.
Call button to cancel.
He put an end to it real quick, and
Fall
of
detection.
course I'm pretty sure he probably committed suicide, jumping off in that water, knowing that was that cold, knowing good and well that he wasn't going to probably live but about 15 or 20 minutes. But he probably felt like that was better. That was better than living the rest of his life in jail, because he probably wouldn't have lived 4 or 5 years in jail, would he? Huh?
Yeah. They come out. They would have come after him anyway. See, the family would have come after him.
Well, I'm surprised that the family didn't go after the business pertaining to
Well, he was done. See,
unlawful killing, or whatever they call it. What do
well,
they call that?
Well, there's 3 or 4 of them involved. The old man. The event started out with the old man and his brother. Right. They owned it, Val's. Then they had sons, Val's and sons. Well, this one of them was he only had 1 son, and the other had 2 sons.
Well, the family members had done already told Mr. Val that he was getting too old to be driving and doing things,
Oh, yeah.
but he wouldn't listen.
Yeah. But he gambled. He'd go down.
Oh,
and
he
gamble
did.
too. Yeah. So he put himself in a lot of this. He gambled and lost most of the place. They bought him out of it.
Okay.
See that people come after him. You know, when you gamble with the right people, you know how it is. They come and say, "Hey, you owe me $150,000. You need to pay me." Well, I can't pay you. Well, we'll take part of the company. Well, the other brothers didn't want to do that. Oh, no, we'll pay for that. They paid it once, and then he became just a worker.
Took his part completely
Right.
over.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
See,
So the old man messed up as far as
Yeah.
that went on.
he was one of the brothers. He wasn't,
Uh-huh.
see, the old men that done went out.
Right. But did you notice how that got hushed up real quick too?
Yeah.
That never did meet the papers too many times, did it? Never did getting a WPSD or BBJ. It didn't go on there but once or twice, and then it was over with.
Right. They didn't want to tell it.
Yep.
Didn't want to tell what happened.
Yep. But what went on down there, as far as the actual shooting, those boys brought it upon themselves,
Oh
really.
yeah. Oh, all of them. See, when you ever get into damn duck hunting, you have places that you put out there. It's yours.
That's your domain.
Your
That's your
domain.
territory.
And so when they put their places out there, he didn't have his place there. So then he moved his place in there like between them. So that took part of theirs. And they done told him, you don't need to be shooting our damn ducks. You need to move over. Well, I ain't got to do this. I got money. And that's what got him. Got him. And
That's what pissed them off.
That's what pissed him off.
But then whenever they made the deal towards one going in one blind, another going in another blind, and then the old man was still doing better than the boys, that's whenever they sure enough provoked the old man, wasn't it?
You gone. Yep. But
And that's whenever he settled the score, wasn't it?
Yep. But I'd have figured if he hadn't killed himself or hadn't got killed, whichever, they'd went after him. They'd went after him. They'd found him somewhere else in the slough. You know.
Think so?
Yep. Yeah.
The family to
Yeah.
them boys.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or they'd have just went after the company and just
Well, it's hard to get after a company
because they'd done already taken that out of his name, hadn't
yes.
they? Gotcha.
You see, Val and Sons don't do nothing to him because he's done gone.
Right. I didn't realize that.
Yeah. See, they had to.
But either or, whether or not they got to him or he went to jail for the rest of his life,
Yeah.
that would have been the end of his life anyway.
Yeah.
Once he made that move toward doing what he done,
Yeah.
out of vengeance or hate or rage or whatever, that was it.
That's it.
And he knowed it, didn't he?
Yeah.
He knowed that's the reason why he went ahead and jumped off in that water, wasn't it?
And they might have knocked him off in that damn water. See,
That may have been the case too. I don't know.
And a shotgun got him.
May have been.
And
Or knocked him unconscious enough that whenever he woke up, he really was dazed, didn't know where he was, and then walked off into the water, huh?
Yep.
It was a bad deal either way,
Oh, yeah.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
But you're right, man. I've been shot. I've been stabbed.
You ever done that?
I've been in some pretty bad brawls, but sometimes you can bring that stuff upon yourself. Like you said, I guarantee you didn't get out in the middle of the field no more, did you? For them to do target practice on you, did you?
Did not ever hunt with them anymore. Because if they hadn't got no damn more respect and know-how to hunt.
Wasn't it Dick Cheney that shot one of his people? Was it Dick Cheney that shot somebody on a? Was it a hunt trip, pheasant trip or something?
I think it was. I think something like that. It seemed like I heard that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Guns is all right as long as you respect them and respect what they can do. You know
That's
it.
exactly right.
You always treat a gun like it's a loaded gun. No matter if you know that it's not loaded, you always treat it as if it is loaded.
That's like right here. See, since all this shit's went on about kids getting shot in school,
Uh-huh.
and they put these cops in these schools and doing nothing, sitting on their ass.
They
and-
probably monitor you,
Oh,
make
they
sure
did.
that you're
They did.
okay.
Well, no. They monitor me because I shot these squirrels out here in these trees.
Really?
Yeah, you can't do that. You love to shoot some kid. I said, no. I said, I'm shooting up. I'm not shooting down yonder. I'm not shooting with a rifle.
But they stopped you.
Oh, yeah, they come over here and got all over my ass. Said, we can put you in jail. I said, no, you can't. Because I ain't going to let you start out with it. I said,
Exactly.
Number two is I'm going to try my best to be a little quieter or do what I got to do. I got a BB gun now, which is ain't worth a fuck. and
But you're next to this school, and because of all the excitement, and probably they never would have said a word to you if all that crap hadn't come up with this, with all the stuff on the schools and
That's
stuff.
right.
But now I guess they got a Homeland Security got involved in all these schools now, hadn't they?
yeah, that's a bunch of shit too. That bunch, because they don't do nothing.
Well,
They draw a damn check. You know what I mean?
the presence means a lot, believe it or not.
Well, it does and it don't. It's like that damn much. Like I said, I got that FEMA or TEMA coat. I can wear that something out here all across this pamphlet everywhere. Don't mean shit. I ain't done nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what they do. They get their outfits on and weapons. And,
Well, it's just so much of it's went on,
Oh,
Ray,
yeah.
as far as
oh,
people taking advantage of the system.
Yeah.
Now the system is completely broken. We're $35 trillion in debt. And like
Yeah.
I said, we're living in a fantasy by thinking that just because we get somebody in there like Trump, that all this stuff's going to go away overnight, because it's
Well,
not. It's
here's-
not.
here's-
It's not going to go away overnight, number one. And number two, if it does go away, it's going to take some serious doing.
Yeah.
It's going to take some serious doing, man.
That's where that.
It's going to take some serious sacrificing.
That's where that, 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 that boy, that he's put in there, him and, what was his name? He was a fuck. And, what was his name? He was a fuck. And, what was his name? He was a fuck. And, what was his name? He was a fuck. And, what was his name? He was a fuck. And, what was his name? He was a fuck. And, what was his name? He was a fuck. And, what was his name? He was a fuck. And, what was his name? He was a fuck. And, what was his name? He was a fuck. And, what was his name? He was a fuck. And, what was his name? He was a fuck. And, what was his name? He was a fuck. And, what was his name? He was a fuck. And, what was his name? He was a fuck. And, what was his name? He was a fuck. And, what was his name? He was a fuck. And, what was his name? He was a fuck. And, what was his name? He was a fuck. And, what was his name? He was a fuck. And, what was his name? He was there's two of them putting the head of that
Yeah,
to take care of the money.
yeah. The Treasury.
Yeah,
I seen that this morning.
They can take care of that.
I seen that this
When
morning.
that damn guy can build a damn engine to go to the moon and pick up them people that fucked up.
He probably got the right man on his team right
Yeah,
there, you know
yeah.
it, because he's hooked up with all these satellites, you know it.
Yeah,
Elon Musk.
he's good.
Do you know he's the richest man in the world? Did you know he's worth more money than the guy that created Amazon? Did you know he's
Yeah.
worth more money than him?
You know he would get he got on your phone, and people thought it was not right, but he said, I will give you $750 an hour until you make $1 million. And this is tax free. That was during that.
I didn't know if that was a hustle. I didn't know because
It's
there's
real.
so much hustling out
Yeah.
there online right now,
Yeah.
pertaining to people trying to hook you and crook you.
Yeah.
I just left it all alone because I didn't know if it was legitimate or not. I left it
Well,
alone.
I went so far on it, and then I got to thinking that maybe it is. See, that's what gets you. Even when you get something that is true,
You get thinking that it ain't.
you're thinking that it ain't, and you have to provide too many damn things to get you going, and you're scared that the IRS or somebody else is going to get your ass.
Well, you know good and well that they can monitor us at any given time. Matter of fact, Eric Snowden's name come up this morning on Face the Nation, and it was some woman there that worked in the intel department, and she was actually degrading Eric Snowden because of what Eric Snowden done. I got news for that woman. There's a lot of people that look up to Eric Snowden because Eric Snowden basically went beyond the call of duty towards basically being a whistleblower and letting America, the citizens of America, know what their government was doing to them,
That's right.
towards spying in on them and taking advantage of them that way.
That's right.
Of course, he had to move completely out of the country. I guess he's over in Russia now or somewhere. You don't hear a lot out of the story, but once more, if the system is broken and they're doing wrong, somebody needs to correct it, Ray.
That's right. That's right.
I don't care if it is a satellite system. I don't care if it is Elon Musk or whoever. You don't have a right to spy on your citizens like that.
That's right.
And whenever it comes to privacy, you know, we've been promised for years and years and years now, oh, we got to compromise your privacy a little bit with all these security cameras, but we'll offer more security. Well, hell, you ain't done that neither. Hell, it's more dangerous out here now than what it's ever been. And you got all these cameras on us, and you're monitoring all. You got a camera on every freaking street corner, but yet now we got killings and shootings going on everywhere. You failed the people. You failed to take care of the people.
That's right. They don't rest what they catch. They let it go.
I know.
It's the thing.
It's turned into an evolving door.
I got some people out there living in my trailer, and they got cameras out the ass everywhere, inside, outside, everywhere. And I went over there, and they owed me rent. I knocked on the door, and she answered.
Now, this is still going.
Answered through the phone, and when she answered through the phone, she said, "I'll be there in a few minutes." And I didn't know she was gone. She was off somewhere. She came up in her car. Said, "I knew you was on the porch. I seen you out there, you know." And I said, "Yeah."
Oh, they've got these cameras now to where you can be in an airplane,
Yeah.
and if somebody walks up to your door, knocks on the door, you can see it on your phone now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it ain't nothing now unusual to where you can pull up somebody's driveway fixing to get out.
And they tell you don't get out.
They tell you don't get out.
Yeah.
Nobody's at home.
Yep.
You're not welcome here. Leave.
Right.
And you'll hear a speaker telling you that. And if you don't, it won't be but a few minutes. Here come the cops.
Yeah. Yep.
So it's all become digitalized, electronical that way, which some of that stuff may be good, but the point that I'm trying to make is we was promised that if they evolved over into all this, that we would be all living safer.
Yeah. Just like
We
these
would be
damn
living peaceful, and instead of living peaceful and safer, they ain't done nothing.
just like them damn little old things that fly around.
Hey, did you see that latest one? They got one that looks like a freaking big bug. One of them long, hard shell bugs. They claim they're the only ones that survive a nuclear holocaust.
Yeah.
What do they call them bugs?
Oh, it used to be like the wood. Yeah.
Them long bugs.
Yeah.
It's got all them legs. They got them now to where they can run remote control.
Yeah. Anything.
Anything with cameras on them and detections on them to where they can send them into your house. They can go through a bottom part of your floor and go in your house and figure out what you got going on in there before they ever bust the door down and raid you.
That's right.
Huh?
That's right. That's
So
right.
whenever it comes to all this electronic digital stuff,
Yeah.
it's taking the world over, isn't it?
That it is.
So the movie Terminator that come out, what was it, 1986, of Arnold Schwarzenegger, where basically the Terminator, the electronics was taking over the whole planet, and that woman was going to have that baby that was supposed to be the cure to all that. I kind of feel like that I'm in that same position, that I'm basically ahead of my time in a way. And that's the reason why so many people went up against me, is because they didn't realize what my potential was, and they didn't realize the calling that I had. And now, because I didn't get back, Ray, I didn't get supporters, I didn't get a congregation in behind me like a Joe Osteen congregation. Now look how everything's falling apart and went haywire. You know what I'm saying? And it was based upon a group of people that didn't want something to occur. And I got news for humanity. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you are. If it's written in the Bible that it's supposed to happen, it's going to happen. Even Christ said that it would have been easier for all of heaven and all earth to pass than the one jot, one tittle in the word to fail. In other words, if it's written in the Bible for it to occur, it's going to occur regardless whether a whole group of people or a whole country don't want it to occur. It's still going to occur, you know it? But boy, did they ever make my life miserable during that 30 years that they fought against me. And I'm really surprised that somebody hadn't already done come and knock my door down, men in black, toward dragging me out, wanting to take me to a Looney Tune house somewhere, and probably would have had if I didn't make that agreement with them federal judges up there in Paducah, that basically after I got studied the first time and I come back, they had to abide by their wishes towards not putting a felony charge on me pertaining to premeditated murder. You know that's the reason why that I was caught up in all that, don't you? I had made an alleged threat of going and killing a darkly complected Arabic individual that masterminded 9/11 pertaining to it being Satan in the flesh, and they thought I was loco. They took me before a federal judge, and I had to agree to the federal judge to go get a study. Well, you know where my study was? In downtown Chicago, right down there by the Loop, down there by the Sears Tower. Went to MCC in downtown Chicago. Dr. Dana. When it was all said and done with, it took about 6 months out of my life. All the paperwork wound up back in front of the federal judge, and the federal judge had to apologize to me in Paducah. He said, Mr. Jackson, I need to apologize to you. He said, you have scored high on all rankings, and I've never seen a client do that. And he commended me and told me what kind of person I was, and we got into another conversation, and before it was all said and done with, he abided by the agreement. He dropped all the charges. But according to the state of Kentucky, they could have gave me a Class E felony just for thinking about killing somebody. It's called premeditated murder. Well, I thought that was the whole primary purpose for us being Americans, was standing under the statutes of God, because that was one of the excuses that Bush and the Vice President Cheney used of going to war with over there in the Middle East, was to eradicate the axis of evil and try to bring stability to that region pertaining to Desert Storm and Desert Shield. That was the reasoning that they put to the public, was the reason why they went over there in Desert Storm, Desert Shield. Well, does that not tell you that God's people and America is supposed to be against the devil and the devil's people? Besides that, you know good and well we're against rapists, murderers, liars, thieves, all this other stuff that's surrounding the Bible.
Right. That was the laws.
That's the laws of the land. And to think that the state of Kentucky was gonna do me that way. But you know what? I'm glad now that I went through what I went through, because if I didn't, I guarantee you some asshole would have already grabbed me up, and odds are it would probably be one of these church members around here that have planted a bug in somebody's ear towards, well, you go down there and arrest that guy. Well, we can get him for being psychologically, emotionally, chemically imbalanced, and we'll throw him through the circuit again. That's the only reason why they hadn't already done it, because I've already been through the circuit, and I come out on the other side. So that woman know that you pulled up there, and you was making a fuss about the rent not showing up. Did she order you off the property?
No. She said, I'll be there in a few minutes.
Okay. So she took care of matters.
Let's see, before that, law come out there after her daddy, I guess it was. And the door was open, so I seen them go down there, and I just eased down there later, and they put a warrant on the table. Well, when I opened the door, I seen that warrant, and I seen it was a warrant, and I looked up, and there's a camera over here, a camera over there, and back there. And so I told her about it. I said, I come in your house, but I said, it's my house. I have a law. You have signed an agreement that I can come into this house at any time.
Once you violated your agreement.
Yeah.
Once you violated your agreement, then that puts me on a kind of like a banker.
That's right.
A banker can't just go in and foreclose on your property as long as you're still making the payments.
Right.
But you miss one of them,
It's gone.
it could be.
Yeah.
It can be.
Yeah.
Depending upon the banker.
And that's when I told her, I said, I didn't mean to do that as such, but I said, you weren't there, and I seen the law go in here, and they had papers, and I seen papers laying there, and those say a warrant. And
Yeah,
I
it'd be
said,
big letters saying a big warrant.
Yeah, and it was not your name, is there? His name, and I said, he don't live here. So therefore, I'm not obligated to him in any way. And I said, if they busted that damn door down, then I'd warned you to pay for it. I said, that's when I tell you, don't do nothing that you're gonna get in trouble, because I don't need my house. I said, they come to my house and they holler out.
And you know, working through the tax property thing, they can find out whose property it is real quick.
Oh yeah,
I mean, you don't even have to be an authority to do that.
no,
You can do that now, just looking up somebody's name
Yeah.
and figuring out if
Who
they got a
owns
piece
pay-
of property in their name anywhere. You can find out that person.
who's paying for it?
That's all public record.
Yeah,
Show is. Just like your utility bill, it's
Yeah.
in your name. Anybody can look that up. You know nowadays that they're actually penalizing people to where if you don't make your payments on time pertaining to your utilities, that goes against your credit.
oh, that's all right. Hell with them.
I'm just saying that
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
use any and everything
Yeah.
now to get back at people.
Yeah,
To where now they can diminish your credit rating
to find out.
just off anything.
Yeah,
Off anything.
Yeah.
Put you in a higher category. Well, we can't loan you that money for that 4% interest. We're gonna have to charge 8.5 here because you're considered a high risk, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Well, why am I high risk? Well, you didn't make your hospital payment.
Yeah.
I told you I got operated on, didn't I?
Mm-hmm.
Got my left ankle fused in January, and boy, it's been an uphill battle. I'm just now got the machine off of me.
What'd they
I
do
had
to it?
it's where I fell off that 4-story building, working at A.O. Smith down there. Fell off that 4-story building in 1979 because the government poisoned me and put all this weight on me, and all that weight was pushing down on those bad vertebrae, and basically all the gristle and stuff got squeezed out of the ankle bone for the leg bone, and then I started rubbing leg bone on ankle bone on foot bone, and it was bone on bone, arthritis. Heck, I couldn't even go to the mailbox without being in a lot of pain. So they fused my left ankle. This right one got fused in 1979 whenever I had the accident in Campbell's Clinic. But the bones mended up good, but I got an infection out of it, soft tissue infection, and it's just now healed up to the point that I think the doctor's going to release me probably Monday, tomorrow, up at Paris. But I've been going back and forth every week to a wound care center and having nurses come out to my property twice a week, making sure that the bandages was changed out, and that's been an ongoing thing for me, man. You get operated on January. This is what, November? It's almost taken a whole year out of my life. Couldn't go to no facilities pertaining like going to the lake. Couldn't get no contamination on the wound. Couldn't jump off in the water. I belong to the YMCA down there at Trenton. They ain't gonna let you in the pool if you got an open wound like that. So it's ruined my whole freaking year. But I'm getting over it. But I'm also figuring out at the age of 63, the old gray mare, she ain't what she used to be. And whenever you wind up getting injured, it takes about twice as long now to get healed back up.
That's exactly.
You don't just jump right back up like you used to whenever you was a teenager, do you?
Mm-mm.
And that can be that way just with a regular cut. I mean, if you don't take care of yourself whenever you get old, especially if you're a diabetic, you don't take care of yourself, it could go into something else.
Yeah.
That's the reason why so many people winds up losing a leg or a foot or an arm or something. I seen somebody, it was last night in a restaurant. By the way, I almost freaking died. I think they tried to poison me over in that Chinese restaurant over in Union City. I didn't know that they put a lot of that stuff on their food to keep their food looking good all the time.
Yeah.
And I got a hold of a piece of lasagna, the big lasagna, that looked like it had stuff all over it. And as soon as I swallowed that, dude, son, it didn't take, just like it right there. My esophagus swelled up. And I've had food kind of halfway get choked up halfway in my chest anyway sometimes. But ordinarily, if you drink enough water or move around or maybe hit yourself in the chest a little bit, it'll go away.
Yeah.
This didn't go away. I thought I was going to have to wind up going to the hospital. It took about 30 minutes for that esophagus to finally release itself and let that food back down into that tract. But you got to watch them up there at them Chinese restaurants because they're bad about putting that stuff on that food, and it could cause a reaction. But while I was in there, I seen this guy that had a freaking left arm. His whole freaking arm was swelled up. It looked red looking, just almost blood red, like it's fixing to just start oozing with freaking blood. And he was trying to hold it like that while he was eating and stuff. But I could tell, man, you're hurting. Something's going on with you. Something bad. And people's health has started deteriorating. Have you noticed that? A lot of people's in bad shape right now.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
People dying at young ages.
Yep.
People down nowadays. It ain't nothing uncommon to hear somebody dying at the age of 20 now, is it?
No. And that's hard too.
Yeah, and that's heart damage.
Yeah.
It's got to be because all the stuff we're eating and drinking and taking and stuff, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Got to be.
Mm-hmm.
It's a way of diminishing the population, isn't it?
That's it.
Population control.
That's it. That's it right there.
And if the truth be known, they probably had an antibiotic that they could have given everybody, like a little pill that would have taken care of COVID. But instead of doing that, they wanted to turn it into a big deal.
Yeah. Well, they wanted it to.
A money-making deal.
Yeah, that's what it did. And it put people out of.
It made people go belly up in businesses and homes and stuff.
Yeah.
And why the pharmaceutical community and the hospitals and stuff got filthy ass rich off of it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And they was taking people that got caught. One person I seen where he was involved in a motorcycle accident, but they still marked it down. He died of COVID.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Why'd they put it down of COVID? Because they're guaranteed a certain amount of money from the government.
That's right. That's what I said about the government did that and had to deal with it
To
let it go.
It wasn't legitimate, was it?
It wasn't legitimate.
Not all that stuff was legitimate was going on, was it?
Mm.
That's what happens whenever the hustlers get involved,
Yes.
huh?
Yes.
The money people.
Money people.
And that's what's ruining America right now is the 1%ers has come over here, and now the working man and the poor class man don't have a chance.
Yep.
These kids that's growing up now that basically has to live with their parents, they're not doing that because they want to do it. They're doing that because they have to do it. They can't get out here and afford a 18, a 22, 25, $3,500 house payment. You know, a car payment now, the average about $800, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
You know how many car payments is behind right now in America? 600,000. 600,000 car payments is behind. You know how much is behind towards credit card bills? Over $1 trillion in credit card business alone. Over $1 trillion.
But I tell you, in the second drive turn the mailbox, probably one I turn out.
Oh, you already pre-approved?
You're right. Got you one.
Yeah.
Just all you got to do is just.
So you can't tell me that the banking industry hadn't been part of this.
That's right.
As well with the psychiatric industry towards letting people go.
Yep.
That should get capital punishment. I could go on and on and on about how people have went over here and basically ruin us.
Yep.
Are in the process of ruining us. If there ever was a chance for us to regain our footing, it's through Trump, don't you think? It wouldn't have been through Harrison, would it have? We already seen what they was going to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Donald Trump's going to make a whole lot more enemies before he gets it straightened out.
Oh yeah. But see, they come down there and went down there on his damn golf course and tried to kill him.
I know.
And they were sent there. See, they were sent there. And go down there. You can do it down there.
So that was all Iran's doings?
Mm-hmm.
They've already proven that?
They have put it up from the government.
On the news?
Yep.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
From Iran. They got one that they still hadn't caught yet.
Well, didn't they stop one? They had somebody that was going to assassinate him or planning to assassinate him, that they stopped him before he ever got out of the apartment good.
No, they got one that they hadn't got stopped. He's in Russia or somewhere now.
He is.
He's just a citizen. They sent him over. See, people over there, when you give you a handful of money and say go do this, they go do it. Nothing else to do.
And they're right here amongst us, ain't they?
Mm-hmm.
They're right here amongst us. We could be living beside one of them, don't even know it.
That's exactly right. I got one over yonder in my house. Used to be. He run over my damn mailbox. Tore it down. Tore one right beside it down. I thought it was against the law to run over a damn mailbox.
It's a federal law.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be. Just like going over to a post office and busting down a window of a post office. That's a federal crime.
Well, I went down here. Oh, no, ain't nothing you can do about it. You might as well just buy another post and put it up and get you a mailbox. I said, you going to give me the money? I said, no. No, okay. I will. I get it. Don't worry about it.
It was ice on the ground. This was in
This
82 or 83. I had that black van of Dwayne Davis's that I'd bought off of him, and I hit Houston Morgan's mailbox. I spun around about twice in his mailbox. I went back, I bought him a mailbox. I put his mailbox out.
Yeah.
I felt like that was the right thing to do.
Yeah, I thought that was law. I went over there. I walked over and said, my son-in-law was out here mowing, and he seen it happen. And I looked out there. I said, what happened to my damn mailbox? He said, boy, over there, run over in that gold truck.
So you had a witness.
Yeah. And so I walked over and knocked on the door, and he wouldn't even come to the door. I said, well, okay. So I never did catch him out. I hadn't yet. And so, but I went and got my mailbox and the post and put it up.
But that's how sorry people are today.
Yeah.
They'll do stuff like that.
You know, back when I was a kid, you used to stick your arm out the window and do like this.
Yeah.
Well, these mailboxes used to have a piece of wire lots of times now from here down, holding it in place.
Yeah.
I hit one of them down there. And if it hadn't been rotten, it took my arm off.
Oh, heck.
It was rotten, it tore in two or three different places. And I grabbed the back of the window.
Wow.
But it could have got me.
You must have just been a kid or something.
Yeah, could have. Could jerked you out the damn window, who knows?
Uh-huh.
You don't remember. But we all went through shit,
Oh,
I remember when I had a 51, well, we had a 51 Chevrolet truck. Had them windows right back here, behind you.
Uh-huh.
And
Extended cab.
wasn't that time we didn't have none.
It was
Anyway,
king cab or something like
yeah,
that.
had these old hubcaps, big round ones that stuck on like baby moons. And Wiley, down the road from me, they had a damn dog, and that damn dog run out to the road and barked and bit at the wheels and whatever.
Everything
So,
else.
One day I got a damn burlap sack. I cut it in half, stuck one on the front, knocked that hubcap off, and it stuck out this much, flapping.
Uh-huh.
I thought, he gets that or he gets back. Because when he got them teeth in there, he couldn't get them out. It just all but broke his neck.
I just imagine.
It flipped him round. The time we got stopped, he finally got out of there, took off. He didn't come out for that damn truck no more. Sure
Somebody over here, somebody over here in Martin, or somebody got charged for killing 7, 8 dogs.
I don't know.
Uh-huh. They catch you doing stuff like that to animals nowadays. They'll put you away for stuff like that.
Animals, yeah.
They sure will. It's something else.
They need to tag them people to keep the dogs up. They're supposed to be on a leash.
It's supposed to be a leash law, ain't it?
Isn't Sharon?
Yep. Well, it's out in the county too. It's all over state Tennessee.
Yeah.
Leash law.